Carter bowling. And that was rather a juicy looking full toss. So weather conditions continue to be very good here at the Basin Reserve, but it really was a very slow morning's play. So really what you're saying is that New Zealand are going to have to take some risks.
Yes, I think they are calculated risks. Martin Crowe is a wonderful player. I mean, he's one of the great players of the world. Of course he can take risks, but he's now got to sort of come out of himself and try and score a big 100 and try and push on. Scoring 47 in the morning is no good to New Zealand at the moment. They've got to take the battle. They've got, when Carter pitches the ball up, they've simply got to go down the wicket and try and hit him. They've got to score runs off Mudasa. I don't think Aqib Javed is as dangerous as all that. I think Imran is going to be difficult for them to score runs against. Of course he is, because he's a wonderful cricketer. But yes, I mean, the trouble about this little chap, Abdul Qadir, is can they read him? I don't know whether Jeff Crowe can. I think Martin Crowe can. I think the really great players can read the ball out of the wrist. Obviously, Abdul Qadir is going to be a problem if he's turning the ball as much as he can.
Crowe, full toss into the leg side, runs for Martin Crowe here. Big chase on from Mudasa out to mid-wicket. And 2 runs comfortably for Martin Crowe, taking him to 120.
It's an interesting field for Abdul Qadir because he tends to like having men in close and either very close or a long way back, and that allows the batsman some freedom in terms of keeping the score moving along. I get the feeling possibly here that Martin Crowe may try and take the attack to the Pakistanis now. He's had a long time at the crease, and the New Zealand cause would benefit greatly from a full-fledged attack.
Great season for Martin Crowe during 86-87, the year of the West Indies visit here. Martin Crowe had a century against the West Indies on this ground. As we mentioned earlier this morning, this is his 3rd century in successive Test innings for Martin Crowe here at the Basin Reserve. 3 men around the bat. We've got a slip, very silly mid-off, and a forward short leg. A single down to long off for Martin Crowe. He's 121.
Highly frustrating for Pakistan, Peter, that they're not able to break this partnership between the Crowe brothers, and they have well dug in and getting stronger and stronger.
Jeff Crowe succumbs to the top spinner from Abdul Qadir. The ball went straight through and knocked out the middle stump. Great delivery from Abdul Qadir, and Jeff Crowe is out for 39. New Zealand now 282 for 5.
Well, that was a good delivery. It had a bit of pace on it. I think it surprised Jeff Crowe. He was caught almost just on the crease. And let's look at it again. And it really hurried on. Probably came back at him a shade, but certainly a reasonably quick delivery in the middle stump out of the ground.
Jeff Crowe out for 39. It's 282 for 5. But Abdul Qadir has his first wicket.
Came back at him a little bit.
And Martin Crowe together after Jeff Crowe's dismissal for 39. Big crowd here at the Basin Reserve enjoying New Zealand's first innings.
John Bracewell to face Abdul Qadir for the first time, and it will be very interesting to see how he gets on. As Imran Khan was off the field for a moment there, and there's some debate now between him and Javed Miandad, presumably as to what's happening and what should happen.
Javed Miandad's coming down to take up his station at silly mid-off, so again 3 around the bat for John Bracewell. Bracewell with that customary wave of the bat as he looks around the field. Always looks as if he's counting up the number of fieldsmen out there.
Oh, great bowling, come on.
I think that wicket will lift the Pakistanis, and already there's an indication that there's a new vitality about them. They've got the opportunity, if they can slip through here and get 2 or 3 more wickets, that they could get New Zealand out for a reasonably modest total.
That's great volley.
Abdul Kader is not in his elements really. He usually bowls better than what we are watching now, but it certainly was a great delivery that got rid of Jeff Crowe.
Good batting by John Bracewell, getting that front foot well forward, getting to the pitch of the ball.
There's 2 men in short, just forward of the wicket, and there's a slip as well. So a lot of pressure on John Bracewell, bowling into this breeze, fairly stiff breeze. Shabbat Mianad really bearing in on John Bracewell there. There he is on the left of your picture with the softball hat on. Or baseball.
Golf cap, please.
Golf, is it?
Golf cap.
Oh, I don't know.
Can't mention those other sports at a cricket match, can we, John?
Now that's fine if he picks it right, but of course if that same line, Abdul Kader, can turn one the other way, as he's capable of doing, that could pose a few problems.
Yes, for either the LBW or the bot threatening to rain upon us at the Basin Reserve as yet. But it's Abdul Kader with an extra spring in his step now after knocking over the castle of Jeff Crowe a couple of overs back. Abdul Kader with 1 for 40, about to start his 16th over. And the men in close are getting the protection on. There's Javed Miandad in at Salim it off. So 3 men around the bat for the great leg spinner.
Yep.
There was the googly. Bit short though. There's a single for John Bracewell behind square.
Now no doubt the field will go back a bit for Martin Crowe. He's got a man way out on the mid-wicket boundary, about 10 metres in, and there's a long off going right back to the boundary. So fairly spread, but still 3 men in close, putting pressure on Martin Crowe, so can't afford to make a mistake in defence. That's good tactics, because it keeps the pressure on the batsman. So often people take the close fielders away, which allow a batsman to defend happily, as it were. It doesn't matter if he gets a bat pad.
Well bowled again. Nicely flighted, that one.
That was a good ball, and Miandad really is bearing him very close in that short position on the offside, just forward of the wicket.
Shah Muhammad does the fielding at backward point. This man Abdul Kader has really come onto his game since getting that wicket of Jeff Crowe's. Bowling from that end yesterday, he seemed to have a few problems with his rhythm. In fact, he overstepped the front line, at least on one occasion, if not twice, and bowled a no ball. He had trouble with his length as well, bowled rather too many full tosses and long hops for him.
Yep.
Single is quickly taken. Good running by John. Well, the score, in fact, is 301. As we update John Bracewell, who's gone to 7. And goodness gracious, a very rare sight in Wellington this summer. We have a little rain. But don't tell anybody in Auckland about it, Henry, please. Here's Carter to Martin Crowe.
We also have something else just outside the ground. We can see down the left a car crash. A van there has run into the back of another car and also into a lamp post, and I think it cannoned off the bus, and there's a lot of excitement down there, all the crowd running to have a look, thanking goodness that it's not their own insurance policies they're going to suffer.
Martin Crowe facing Kadir. Actually steered down to fine leg. The insurance for Abdul Kader there is Akib at fine leg.
So I feel we could be in now for a fascinating afternoon's cricket, as Martin Crowe is really set. He looks as though he's now set to dominate, which he's not done so far. And of course, when Crowe is really in charge, it's brilliant watching.
Well bowled again. Abdul Kader tossing them up into this northwesterly.
Trying to work out why Abdul Kader's got that bandage round his neck, because his bowling seems all right. Maybe it's to keep his larynx warm, so he's in good appealing voice, do you think?
I think he does have a slight muscle strain in the neck area. Certainly jaunty in his step at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean, Kumar?
Well, that certainly, as Henry said, amplifies his appeal. He's a great appealer, Abdul is, and it's very exciting to watch Abdul, Henry, isn't it?
Oh, fascinating. It's like watching a jack-in-a-box. I mean, this lovely sort of strat, trot, bounce, twirl. I love it when he thinks he's beaten the batsman, when the ball's on its way in, and he gives a sort of victory twirl of his right arm, doesn't it? He's like an animated windmill. Lovely.
Well, he's strengthened his attacking field even more with Mudasa going into very short gully, so 4 men around the bat now, plus the wicketkeeper.
Right.
And of course, when one watches Abdul Kader, one realizes the full joy of wrist spin bowling. Something is always happening. Either runs are coming or wickets are falling, but every ball is an incident. Even if it's a dot ball, it's an incident rather than a dot.
Yes, indeed, and very rare to find leg spinners bowling in Test cricket these days, isn't it?
Oh, sadly, yes.
It's the top spinner again, but John Bracewell has chopped it down to third man. Chase on Heffer, Shoaib again. Well fielded, Shoaib. Great commitment from the Pakistani outfielder. Bracewell's run 3. 7 for 5, and the Asian mystery to continue, Abdul Kader. Here's a Kilburney mystery. Grant Nisbet.
Thank you, Peter. Played twice for them, I think.
Were you an off spinner or a leg spinner, I think?
Neither, really, Henry. Carter appealed, but nobody else did.
Well, that was the googly, and I don't think Martin Crowe saw that one. I think he played it off the pitch. Yes, he was expecting that one to turn the other way and suddenly realized as it pitched that it was turning into him and tried to improvise and turn it round the corner.
Gave him some room that time, and Shoaib has had to pick himself up and chase, and the ball gets to the fence.
Yes, you give Martin Crowe room outside the off-stump at your peril, and in fact, there was a marvellous... I think it was the next cab off the rank this morning when they got up.
Yes, and that rank was struggling a bit at one stage, maybe. Martin Crowe facing Kader. And things livened up a bit, Henry, with Richard Hadlee getting stuck into the action.
Yes, I should be fascinated now to see how Richard Hadlee plays Abdul Kader. He doesn't play spin anything like as well as fast bowling. Loves to hit quick bowling. And I think it might spell the end of Richard Hadlee. We shall see.
Martin Crowe continuing in a very controlled manner, and he has been the backbone of the innings. An opportunity here for Hadlee to throw the bat at the ball, and I wonder when John Wright should declare here. Everyone's speculating, but I think they've got to get on with the job, don't they?
I think they must try and get Pakistan in tonight.
bad ball from Carter, short. Martin Crowe a bit disappointed he didn't get onto that better, but it never really arrived, and finished up only getting one out into the covers.
On such a slow pitch, it's very easy when you get a short ball from a slow bowler. You wait for so long that your weight's on the back foot and your heels, as Martin Crowe's was then, which is why he hit it into the ground.
There's the temptation to sort of play the shot about 3 times before the ball arrives. And the pitch has quickened up a little today, but it is really relatively slow.
This is the duel that I'm eagerly awaiting the outcome of, Abdul Carter to Richard Hadlee.
Well, I saw the first duel at Christchurch between the two on Hadley's return to cricket, big cricket, and after he had made, I think, 37, Carter bowled big googly at Hadlee, and there his middle stump went flying behind him.
Yes, that's game, set and match, isn't it?
It's reasonably conclusive. But attacking field, 3 men in round the bat. That was the googly. The googly actually is the ball that looks like the leg spinner, but in actual fact spins the other way. It comes right out of the back of the hand, and that's a ball that would spin away from Richard Hadlee, being a left-hander.
John, Abdul Carter's been around a long time. Has he been around so long that he would have bowled at you?
No, he hasn't.
Sorry to put it like that.
Well played by Richard Hadlee, just clipping it away behind square. There's a man deep on the mid-wicket boundary who's just been brought in a little, and also a man deep backward square. Right arm over the wicket. There are the men out deep on the leg side, and the man deep backward square, and then one at deep mid-wicket. And there is also a man deep at long on, fairly wideish. So they're all poised, ready, waiting for a big hit from Richard Hadlee. Just trying in line a shade, and Richard Hadlee able to turn it round. It may have come off the pad. In fact, it did. We've got a change around while the right-handed Martin Crowe comes on to strike.
Well, it's lovely now. The sun's back with us. The rain, memories of the rain being banished. And the ground looking a picture once again.
It's cleared up very quickly, and with any luck we'll get through to 6:30. Extra hour, because we missed that hour, has been added on to play, so 6:30 the scheduled finishing time. All 90 overs, and Pakistan not been too quick in getting through the overs. Martin Crowe on strike. One wicket was Jeff Crowe, clean bowled him. Into drive, didn't quite go where Martin Crowe intended, but comfortable enough single in the end. It's been a good contest. Martin Crowe's been very watchful throughout with Abdul Carter, hasn't he, Henry?
Yes, it's been a very... I mean, there's been very little free stroke play, really, by Martin Crowe. He's dispatched the bad balls, give them their due, but he's not really been very imaginative when it's come to, trying to score off the good balls and to make his own pace.
No, he certainly has been content to occupy the crease and to be very controlled and just accumulate runs. Richard Hadlee now on strike, Martin Crowe at the non-striker's end. Sweeps this one, gets hold of it. But Salim Jaffa down there restricts any further scoring. A wild throw over the head of Yusuf.
Kama, what actually is wrong with Abdul Qadir's neck?
Well, he didn't turn up for the practice the day before the test match, and he complained about a sprain in his right side of his neck. And he thought there's a twitch in his neck, and that's really prevented him practicing.
Aggressive shot from Martin Crowe, and this should go away for 4, although Salim Jaffer is after it. And very well done. Just dragged it in a very fast chase up.
And I'm sure one day they'll be everywhere.
Driving, oh, fine piece of fielding. And who was that to come out?
Amir Malik.
Amir Malik. What a fine piece of fielding. Let's have another look at this one. Cracking drive from Martin Crowe. Diving away, Amir Malik. Did very well.
Marvellous piece of cricket, isn't it?
Amir Malik.
Comfortable single from Martin Crowe.
Well, if my memory serves me right, Henry, I think they did put a screen once at the Oval, not in the Test match, but they did in a match about 3 years ago. A big, huge screen.
And I think so many members had suffered from apoplexy as a result of it. They took it down again, didn't they? I can't remember what happened.
They did take it down after a week or so, but they did have a screen there.
I'd forgotten that.
Looking for the single. The other thing was in England's coloured clothing, Henry. That hasn't arrived, has it?
Coloured what?
Good heavens, old chap.
No, we don't play in coloured clothing. And I'm bound honestly to say, I don't mind it one day cricket. Why shouldn't they play in coloured clothes? Personally, I prefer cricketers. I think I like to see cricketers in white.
There's an easy single to Richard Hadlee, moving on to 27.
I don't know why it should be, John, but actually, when you're commentating, cricketers are very much harder to identify in coloured clothing than they are in white. It's quite extraordinary. And I was talking to Richie Benno about this not a fortnight ago, and he couldn't come up with an answer for it, but agreed that it does, for some reason, seem to hide their features rather more.
That's an interesting theory, and I hadn't really thought about it. The comment has been made, it's easier to tell which team they're in, Henry, but...
Well, this year in Australia, they had numbers on their backs. No, sorry, they didn't have numbers, they had their names on their backs, but the makers of the shirts didn't think that they might put their sweaters on. The sweaters hadn't got the names on. So when they had theirs, they were besweatered. You couldn't see who they were.
Coming from? And he's been answered by the umpire.
I just wanted to say that to prove that I'm not a stuffy old spoil sport, you've seen.
No one would ever suggest that, Henry.
Good defensive stroke. I'm glad to be able to see a few of my friends, the seagulls, are flying around this afternoon. We've had more today than I think yesterday, Grant.
It's more like their weather today, really, I think.
I suppose it is. The rain brings them along.
Different line of attack here now from Carter. Looks to be attacking very much the leg stump and has set a field accordingly. Very strong on the leg side.
Salim Malik's not had a very good day today. I've always actually, Kamar Ahmed was saying that since Wasim Bari retired as Pakistan's wicketkeeper, they've had a you know, Salim really hasn't done his stuff behind the stumps. I've always thought of him as quite a good wicketkeeper, but today he's not been making ground standing back, and he hasn't been tidy up to the wicket either.
Oh.
I love that twirl of the arm. It's sort of victory twirl when he thinks he's found a way through in his follow-through.
But look, it's come back and jammed him up a little bit. He's found the middle of the bat, it's climbed away, and Rizwan's made a lot of ground to his left hand and taken the catch in one hand, left hand, just a few inches, and look, his teammates are delighted. And look at Salim Jaffer. Thank you very much, Rizwan.
Picking it out, and it really didn't look as though Rizwan was going to make it. And quite sensational fashion, he got his hand underneath it, came up with it, no doubt about it, and Hadlee is out.
Look at that from a different angle, making yards to his left and diving just before it reached the ground. What a wonderful catch. Just the sort of thing that the Pakistan side need at this stage. And Jaffer is delighted with him. Ian Smith-Grant's had a very, very good season, hasn't he? And in fact, coming from India, he played extremely well over there, where, of course, he did a lot of batting against Narendra Hiwani, the leg spinner from India, and played him extremely well indeed. Generally approaching the batting with some cross-batted sort of sweeps, really like to lap him to death.
Now let's have a look at the wickets that have fallen today in the New Zealand innings, and Jeff Crowe was the first to go, facing Carter, and real beauty here, took off the middle stump, and Jeff Crowe's innings ended there at 39.
Oh, yard.
After Jeff Crowe, John Bracewell was next dismissed. Imran, the bowler here, and John Bracewell trying to avoid the ball, hit him on the glove and came down and hit the stumps, and that was John Bracewell's dismissal, out for 15. Imran with 2 of the 7 wickets to fall.